Good morning. I'm Eric McLaughlin, Chair of the Harford Community College Foundation Board of Directors. I welcome you here this morning to the 2021 ATHENA Leadership Awards presented by Harford Mutual Insurance Group. We are honored to have an outstanding group of finalists to honor this year for the ATHENA Leadership Award and the ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award. We thank you all for being here virtually to join us in celebrating their accomplishments. First, the finalists for the ATHENA Leadership Award. Dawn Hamilton, Vice President, Product Management, Freedom Federal Credit Union. Sharon Markley Schreiber, Chief Operating Officer, Economic Alliance of Greater Baltimore. Rose Pesci Rodriguez, Research Chemist, DevCom, Army Research Laboratory. Robin Temechko, Chief Executive Officer, Harford Family House. Cynthia Womack Ross, Principal, Edgewood Elementary School, Harford County Board of Education. And the finalists for the ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award. Sarah Garbarino, Senior Director of Resource Development, the ARC Northern Chesapeake Region. Kenrika Gardner, Vice President of Remote Services, APG FCU. Jennifer Holbrook, Senior Commercial Large Account Underwriter, Harford Mutual Insurance Group. Allison Imhoff, Safe House Director, SARC. Michelle Williamson, fourth grade educator, Harford County Public Schools. Megan Urich, Communications Specialist, Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company. Congratulations to each one of you. We hope you are proud of the accomplishments you've achieved. You can learn more about the finalists in the program book that was sent to you and can also find them on our event website at www.harford.edu/Athena. The link is included on the bottom of the slides as well. I also want to thank past recipients of the ATHENA Leadership Award and the ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award. We thank each of you for your continued demonstration of the ATHENA core tenets: authentic self, collaboration, courageous acts, fierce advocacy, giving back, learning, relationships, and our theme for this morning, celebration and joy. We also want to recognize one of our past recipients, Karen Green, who passed away this year. We will honor and celebrate her memory this morning. At this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Teresa Felder, President of Harford Community College.
Good morning. I'm honored to acknowledge and celebrate this year's ATHENA leaders. Today, we will recognize the women in our community who have distinguished themselves as mentors in their workplaces and in their communities. Women who model excellence and integrity and who encourage their peers to reach their full potential. I am inspired by your strength, your wisdom, your passion, and your generosity. This year, we are pleased to recognize two individuals who will receive the ATHENA Leadership Award and the ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award. We will also recognize the student recipient of the Emerging Leaders Scholarship, a program designed to build and enhance the leadership of students at Harford Community College. I am also proud to announce that this year we will award 6 $1,000 scholarships and an additional $500 award to a student participating in the Emerging Leaders program here at HCC. These scholarship awards are made possible due to the growth and success of the ATHENA Leadership Awards over the past several years and the Harford Community College Foundation. We are also honored to have the pleasure of hearing from Shreya Mishra, the recipient of this year's Emerging Leaders Scholarship. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students of Harford Community College, congratulations to all our winners.
There is a quote by Neil Gaiman. Sometimes we can choose the paths we follow, and sometimes our choices are made for us. And it is clutch to say that I have always known what I want to do with my life. But in my case, it happens to be true. Despite my age, I have always been a leader in whatever group I belong to, from the grade school president to junior high president to high school head girl, and whether informal or formal. And my mother used to say, when I was little, I would just get around the kids in the neighborhood and make them play school with me as a teacher. And continuing my degree in nursing, I knew I would require this skill. And 7 oceans away from your country to a place you know nothing about, it becomes a necessity to develop skills to match up with others. So, my name is Shreya Mishra, and I'm double majoring in nursing and computer science. And today I'm dually enrolled with Towson University and Harvard Community College, completing my nursing degree and making a path for my future dream of being a nurse informatist. And in less than 5 years, I see myself as a nurse informatist in a prestigious hospital with both my bachelor's and master's degree achieved. And today, I'm also the Executive Vice President of PTK, Officer of PCI Beta, SGA Treasurer, and the Council member representing the community colleges at MYC and MHAC Student Advisory Council. And all this would not have been possible if I did not receive the scholarship from HCC. Everyone says that scholarship helps you complete degree, but for me, it is helping me believe that I can also be like the successful women and bring a difference to the humanity. It is protecting me from my community from whom girls are not born for education. And during my second semester, working as an orientation leader, I came across the program Emerging Leaders. I knew that very movement that I could not lose this chance. Joining Emerging Leaders helped me a lot. It helped me towards my future in nursing. It helped me gain my confidence, bridge the gaps of weakness that exist in my leadership style, integration, critical thinking, resolution, affirmation, and inclusion. All those skills I never knew I had in me. After completing my first emerging leader step, I know I am partially ready to step into a career involving high pressure situations and quick decision making. It will help me become a competent, confident leader. And having a grateful and motivating attitude, I encourage all the students to develop an interest in leadership and accomplish their goals through best utilizing their strengths and giving to others. Thank you.
Shreya, thank you so much for sharing a little about your journey. Your impressive accomplishments and goals for the future are what HCC is all about. You can see the impact that the scholarships have on these students. Last fiscal year, the Harvard Community College Foundation awarded $467,200 in scholarships to students. Stories like those of Shreya are possible because of the partnerships the college is fortunate to have with the community. This is evidenced by all of our generous sponsors of this year's event. Each is listed in our event program, but we would especially like to thank our presenting sponsor, Hartford Mutual Insurance Group, for their commitment to the event, our ATHENA Leadership Scholarship, and all the incredible future leaders we are able to recognize due to their support. We would also like to recognize our ATHENA Young Professional Leadership Award sponsor, the Daily Record, and our platinum sponsors, Bravura Information Technology Systems and Chesapeake Bank of Maryland. We also couldn't do what we do without the help and support of the Harvard Community College Foundation board members. All are listed in the program. Thank you all for being such great leaders in our community. I now have the pleasure of introducing this year's keynote speaker, Rachel Druckenmiller. Founder and CEO of Unmuted, Rachel Druckenmiller is on a mission to humanize the workplace by building resilient, connected, and compassionate leaders and teams. Recognized as the #1 health promotion professional in the US, a 40 under 40 game changer, and one of the Daily Record's leading women of 2020, Rachel is a national thought leader in the field of well-being and employee engagement. Through interactive virtual and in-person keynotes, workshops, and trainings, she supports leaders and their teams to become more energized, engaged, and resilient. She has worked with dozens of organizations, including Deloitte, Citizens Bank, Junior Achievement, and the American Heart Association, and has been featured as a guest on over 40 podcasts. Rachel holds a master's degree in health science and a bachelor's degree in psychology. We are honored and excited to have Rachel with us today.
When I was growing up, one of my most favorite movies was The Wizard of Oz. And when I think about it, I think of this young woman, Dorothy, and she showed up in this kind of sepia-toned black and white imagery in the beginning of the movie and transitioned into this place, this land of Oz that had so much vibrance and color. And as I think about that, I think about my own life. And I would invite you, as we go through this conversation today, to think about your life and the ways that you might show up as a muted version of yourself. I don't know about you, but I heard the phrase "you're on mute" about 1,000 times over the past year. I think most of us can attest to that we've had that experience of having someone say to us, "Hey, can you unmute yourself?" But how many of us go through our lives silencing ourselves, muting ourselves? Think of a way that you do this in your own life. We silence ourselves in our relationships, and we don't share our thoughts or ideas or feelings, and we don't ask for what we want. We silence ourselves in our careers, and even though we are high achievers, as I know all of you are here, we can win awards and get all sorts of recognition for our achievement, but at the same time be holding ourselves back in some way professionally, not asking for the opportunities that we want and know that we've worked hard for. We silence ourselves in our creative expression. Think of yourself as a little girl, how at the age of 5, we're so uninhibited and we pretty much do what we want, and we sing and we dance and we play, and we're not afraid of people judging us or thinking less of us. But then as we get older, that part of ourselves, that playful, light, delighted part of ourselves starts to get quieter and quieter and more self-conscious and full of fear and self-doubt. And so we stop singing and we stop dancing and playing and drawing and doing all of those things that make us feel so alive. And it's like we're living our lives on mute. A couple of years ago, I was doing a workshop with a group of about 100 women. These were women in construction and building. And I asked them a question during the workshop and had them fill out a response on a sheet of paper, asking them, what was some advice that you would give to your younger self? And the 3 words that came up consistently across dozens of responses were, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Now, I don't know about you, but I have been afraid of all of those things over the course of my career, and sometimes I still am afraid of those things. You know, growing up, I was a muted version of myself. I was a shell of myself. I was this little quiet, reserved girl. I was the good girl. Like I would imagine many of you, this is what happens when we're overachievers as adult women. There's typically that little girl in us that was the good girl that followed the rules and was compliant and got good grades and performed. And you know, I think about myself at that time, and I had straight A's and accolades and tons of praise, but beneath that, I was not okay. It's easy for us to put on masks differently than, of course, we are right now, but it's easy for us to put on masks out of fear. And I think growing up, I struggled with feeling rejected by my peers. I didn't feel accepted. I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel invited or like I was wanted, and that really weighed on me. And I would imagine that some of you have had a similar experience of that. You know, I was dealing with the strain of my parents' marriage when I was 5 and 6 years old, and they were going through a difficult patch in their marriage, and I just internalized all of it, like so many of us do. You know, when we want to appear on the surface like we're fine and have it all together all the time, it's easy for us to hide the things that we're really struggling with. I had a whole slew of chronic health issues that followed me into my late 20s. And then I took this pressure that I put on myself as a little girl, and I carried it with me into adulthood. And again, we see the benefits of doing well and of achieving, and we get recognition for it, and it's amazing. And in 2015, I was recognized as the #1 health promotion professional in the United States. And I thought, man, I've made it. Like, this is it. I have made it. I finally had a national platform with what I was doing. I had my first keynote a year later. And then the weight of that, the pressure of that just started to crush me. And in September of 2016, I had a dream that I was drowning. And by the way, if any of you has a dream that you're drowning, that's a pretty sure sign that you might want to go talk to somebody sooner rather than later. And unfortunately for me, I decided to do the latter. I remember sitting across from my doctor as he asked me, he said, Rachel, he said, maybe you're doing too much. I mean, that's like the wrong answer. If you're somebody who's really driven and you're focused on achievement and accomplishment, that's the wrong answer. So I basically ignored him. And then I went about my business. And then several months later on Valentine's Day, when I was supposed to be at dinner with my husband, I was back in that same doctor's office and was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr virus, an acute form of mono. And it would be months before I'd feel like myself again. I had burned out. And a lot of us, especially right now, are going through these experiences of feeling tired. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're trying to juggle 15 things at once and it's tiring and you're just hoping, oh gosh, I hope I don't drop one of these. What's going to happen if I do? And the good news is that when we go through experiences like that perhaps we didn't ask for, we can still choose to use it for something good. And so the gift of that experience, and what I want to invite you into the rest of our time together today, is to recognize the gifts and the experiences in your life that have been challenging. Talking about that theme of celebration, how can we really celebrate what we've come out of, what we've risen up from? And so as I think about that season in my life, it taught me several things. One of the things it taught me was the importance of asking for help. In her book, Dare to Lead, Brené Brown shares a story that they interviewed 1,000 leaders and they asked them, what behavior of your team members contributes most to your ability to trust them? And to be honest with you, the response surprised me. And it was when my team members asked for help. That was the number one way to build trust. And I, for one, was terrified of doing that because I thought, gosh, if I ask for help, then they're going to think I'm incompetent, that I don't know what I'm doing, that I really didn't deserve this award that I was given, because somebody who wins awards knows all the answers and knows what they're doing. And I was really full of all this self-doubt behind the scenes, but on the surface, I was like, I'm good, I'm fine, I got it together. And I feel like a lot of us, we have a tendency to do that. We have this tendency to just act like we're fine, to pretend like we're fine, even when we're not. But when we learn to ask for help, we learn to open up and say, hey, I can't handle this. I actually need some support. It was a time in my life where I learned to do that. And I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm so grateful that I learned to ask for help, that I learned to say, hey, I'm kind of having a hard time here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I chose to apologize to some coworkers. So I felt like I, had not been really easy to work with. And I said, hey, you know what? I was hiding behind this mask, this facade that I had it all together. And so I'm sorry for that. And I started to repair these relationships little by little. And I started to realize during that season, I started to think about my life and what I really wanted to be doing with it. I had been at the same company at that point for just over a decade. And I liked my job. I got to do a lot of things that I enjoyed, but I realized I wasn't really living into my strengths. And so I would invite you, if you haven't already, to take all of these different assessments, like the Clifton Strengths Finder. There's another assessment I love called the VIA Character Strengths Assessment. And feel free to message me. I'm happy to share any of these links with you. As I started to get a fuller picture, I started taking these assessments, another one called the Predictive Index. I started to take these assessments during that time, and it started to be very clear to me what my strengths and skills were. We know, according to Gallup, that people who don't get to use their strengths consistently at work burn out after just 20 hours of work a week. And I took that seriously, and I decided, what am I going to do to step more fully into the strengths that I have been given? And as I started to do that little by little, I started to pursue this love and this desire of speaking that I had had for quite a long time. But I just hadn't stepped into it fully. And in 2018, I decided to invest in a professional speaking training. Now, this is one of those situations, I don't know if you've had this experience, where your heart is like beating out of your chest when you're trying to make this decision. You're thinking to yourself, this is either absolutely crazy or this could be the greatest thing that I've ever done. It was one of those moments where I called my husband and I just said, like, do you trust me? and he said yes. And I signed up for this program, and it was the best thing I ever could have done for my career, because it put me in a community of other people that had big visions for their lives. And I started to step into this space, and I started to be seen. And as I was working on a script for the program, I was talking about the story of when I first became unmuted. As a little girl, I had loved singing. I've loved singing my whole life, but I silenced my voice for so long because I was self-conscious and afraid of rejection. And what are people going to think? Can you think of a way in your own life that you do that? There's something that brings you so much joy and you judge it maybe as, I'm not sure if that's good enough, or if I'm not good enough. And so that causes us to silence ourselves, to mute ourselves. And so I had this joy, this love of singing when I was all alone by myself. But the second I got in front of anybody, I just toned it down. I would literally lip sync. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I would lip sync in church if I thought anyone could hear me. And so I get into this program, this speaking program, with all these people that are vibrant and alive and celebratory and encouraging. And something magical happens when you're in a community of people that support you. When you feel accepted, when you feel seen, there's a courage that emerges from that experience. And as I was in the midst of this, I noticed little by little, I saw that the persona that I got connected with, and there was the peacock that I was kind of folded down and then eventually started to open up. And I incorporated into a speech, I said, when I was in college, I was in gospel choir, and I came back from a semester abroad in Spain. I decided to try out for a solo for the first time in my life. And I told him, I said, I went up to the microphone and I was terrified and trembling and so nervous, but I did it anyway. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my unmuting of my voice. And so I'm in this program over a decade later, and I'm sharing the story. And I said, well, should I add singing into this? Would that be weird? Like, sometimes it can go really weird when someone sings in a speech. My writing coach said, you absolutely should do that. You should absolutely do that. And I did. And I remembered just the outpouring of support. When we step fully into who we're called to be, and when we show up with boldness and courage, we're so afraid that people are going to judge us. But what ends up happening is that people embrace us because they see, wow, that was brave. Wow, that was bold. And as I was in this program and I continued to do that, I continued to open up in these little ways. And I found more and more of my courage. I was listening to this show on Disney. It's Disney Plus. It's called Becoming. It's a really cool show. And there was a story of a guy who was really struggling to get really his first breakthrough, his first opportunity. And he tried out 115 times before he got his first audition, 115 times. And his mother said to him, she said, how do you live with so much rejection? And he said, I'd rather live with rejection than live with regret. That guy is Nick Krull. You may know him. He's a famous comedian and actor. He's won all kinds of awards, and this is what he does full time now. And imagine if he had stopped at audition number, if he had stopped at the tryout number, 99 or 55 or 114. So what is it that you're holding yourself back from? What is the thing that you're afraid of rejection, but maybe you should fear the regret? Maybe you should think, what happens if I don't do this? What is the world, not just what do you miss out on? What does the world miss out on if I don't pursue this? And for any areas of your life where maybe you're feeling a little insecure, you're feeling like, I don't know if I'm qualified, or I'm not sure if I have what it takes to do that. Here's what I've learned. I've learned that confidence is the byproduct of action. And as my friend Kate LaDon says, that sloppy success is better than perfect inaction. Sloppy success is better than perfect inaction. Guess what? Even the people you admire the most, big secret, spoiler alert, they're making it up too. We're all making it up. We all have no idea what we're doing, and we're just making it up. And some of us can maybe hide it better than others, but at the end of the day, we're all making it up anyway. And so anything that you have an insecurity about, anything you have a self-doubt about, any way that you've been muting yourself or silencing yourself, I would invite you to challenge yourself and to think to yourself, what's a way that I can step forward, even though I'm in the face of fear? That's what courage is. Courage is taking action in the face of fear. How can you ask for help? How can you open up? How can you ask for feedback? How can you start being more honest about what you're going through? Because I guarantee there's someone in your life that would support you if they knew it. What can you do to show up with greater boldness and courage in your relationships, in your creative expression, and in your work? Because courage is contagious. And with that, I figure if I've been talking all this time about singing, I think we should close with a song that I know will be familiar to all of you, and it's an invitation. Talk about celebration and joy. This song, I can't help but feel like I'm celebrating and feel joyful as I sing it. And I want to caveat this with, as a little girl, again, I was terrified of doing this, but through action, through repeated action, by being in community with people that supported me and saw me and encouraged me, I found the courage to do it. So here's my invitation to you as we close this keynote and transition into recognizing all of your amazing accomplishments, that you would show up fully and with boldness, that you would show up expressed, that you would show up unmuted, and that you would let your light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Eric, back over to you.
Thank you, Rachel, for being with us this morning. I think we can all say that we are feeling inspired. Okay, it's now time for the award portion of the morning. I want to take a minute to share with you about the ATHENA Leadership Award and our journey here this morning. The ATHENA Leadership Award is a nationally recognized honor under the umbrella of ATHENA International, whose mission is to develop, support, and honor women leaders and those who inspire them to reach their full potential by offering unique, impactful leadership development and award programs. The Harford Community College Foundation welcomes the nomination of any individual who meets the criteria for the award. A selection committee made up of representatives from the community, the Harford Community College Foundation Board, and sponsor organizations is identified to review the applications. Applications are scored using a numerical rating scale provided by ATHENA International. All committee members' scores are added, and the finalists are selected using this rating. The nominee whose application is scored highest is chosen as the award recipient. It's not an easy task reviewing the applications, as all nominees show excellence in the three criteria of assisting women in leadership, professional accomplishments, and community service. Our committee does a wonderful job each year, and we thank them for volunteering their time to the process. The ATHENA leadership model includes 8 core tenets. This year, we've chosen to highlight celebration and joy. ATHENA International defines celebration and joy as appreciating and acknowledging your accomplishments, looking forward to your life with a sense of hope and purpose. We asked each finalist to respond to the following question. How do you inspire joy in the workplace in pursuit of a shared mission with your colleagues? And we have a short video of their personal responses.
I love people. Really, I do. I think people are the most important part of my day and my life. Momentum is passed on to others like a stone thrown into the water. The ripples symbolize the celebration of joy, where we share with each other every day. It reminds me I am able to make a difference in our community by inspiring others. Being a small business owner, working in the finance world, and being part of the community gives me the opportunity to reach out to people from so many different walks of life. Encouraging and mentoring in small bits and pieces is like planting a seed, and every conversation is nourishment. We all need a purpose, and we want to feel important. So I take the time for a phone call, a quick bite to eat, or even a simple emoji. So whether I'm with family or friends, coworkers, church, or out in the community, I always take the time to reach out. It's a gift to share time and celebrate our joys.
Be present. and care hard. Show up and listen to each other's thoughts and ideas and celebrate those things that make us all part of the world's family, birthdays, marriages, births. But don't forget to be there when it's not so easy. Joy comes really quietly at times, at the end of the day, the end of the work week, the end of a Zoom call, and you have to cherish that sense of accomplishment. Be sure that that one person you're interacting with knows that they're valued, respected, and cared for. There's no reason to keep your care a secret. You have to care really hard. It will move you to a better position from which you can make a real difference. And as someone once told me, maybe your gift is helping others find their gift. And that's really something to cherish.
I love this question and the idea of joy in the workplace. As a chemist, I find that joy in laboratory comes easily, even after 30+ years. But my approach translates beyond the laboratory to every workplace. Here's mentoring advice that I give to whomever will listen. 1. Try to find your way around obstacles or distractions and really focus on the task at hand. Make a deliberate effort to create work conditions that allow you to thrive. When you are successful, you feel joy and the organization benefits. 2. Strive to find what is worthy in every task and learn as much as you can from every effort, no matter how trivial. In the words of my father, if someone asks you to sweep the floor, be sure to do the corners. I have found that doing this often reveals little treasures and discoveries that might otherwise be missed. Outcomes are fulfilling and contribute to mission success. 3. Find time in your busy schedule to serve others and your organization. You might be the one to find a way to prevent others from facing the obstacles or distractions that plague you. Step up and work to improve your organization and better meet mission goals. In the process, you will learn more about your organization, expand your network, and add novelty to your day job.
I try to inspire joy in the workplace by focusing positively on even the smallest successes of each of my staff members and our clients every day. We work with families and young adults who are experiencing homelessness and are likely at one of the lowest points of their lives. Joy is not a given for anyone in these difficult circumstances, especially during a pandemic. So together, the staff and I look to find the silver linings in all situations and try to celebrate each professional and personal success together. We enjoy sharing client successes via staff and board meetings or an impromptu phone call or group text just to share good news quickly. I even have a bell on my desk that staff are encouraged to ring loudly throughout the office in celebration of very special successes. We celebrate staff birthdays, work anniversaries, and many shared personal life experiences together as a staff and a board team. We are a work family at Harford Family House, and that brings me the greatest joy.
How do I inspire joy in our workplace? That's easy, through humor and laughter. It's disarming, infectious, and evokes an atmosphere of joy and fun. We know it's the best medicine and good for the soul, but it also induces a lot of positive physical changes in our body, and it's free. We try not to take ourselves too seriously in our school community. We have a huge task in front of us that requires a lot of hard work, new learning, and determination, but there's no law that states we can't have fun along the way. I like to tell jokes. I occasionally sing and dance for my staff, and I'm constantly trying to find humor and laughter in some of the most difficult situations. I believe that people like to laugh and want to be happy. I was a theater major, so it's not a stretch for me to summon up my theatrics from time to time. If the staff is happy, our school environment thrives and joy emerges and fills the air. Joy also comes from the relationships we cultivate with our students. I want my staff to feel free to be themselves, express themselves and their ideas, and laugh at me and with me. Laughter attracts joy.
So I think inspiring joy or motivating people, particularly through this last year, really involved showing up each and every single day and reminding people that no matter what obstacle came in our way, we were going to work through it no matter what. And I think encouraging people and reminding them of that really allowed them to continue to focus on our mission. I also bring my sense of humor wherever I go. So trying to make people laugh even through the hardest of times, I think it's important to still have fun at work. I also really like to highlight the impact that our frontline workers and all of our team members at the ARC NCR have on the people that we support. So whether that's through a personal email or through an agency social media post or through weekly emails that my team would send out with success stories or and pictures of people we support achieving a goal or hitting a milestone, what we found is that these visuals really helped remind people of why we do what we do, what our mission is, and that we're all here together in that shared mission.
As a credit unionist, the phrase people helping people is at the core of what we do. It's a principle that drives our operations and sets us apart from other financial institutions. As a leader, I understand the distinction comes with much responsibility, which is why I lead by example and genuinely believe in our mission and make sure that that energy is felt amongst my team. We get to know our members, truly understand their triumphs and struggles, and use that as an opportunity to come up with solutions to make their lives and communities better.
Something that brings me joy is my involvement in the community. It just so happens that corporate and social responsibility is a core value for my employer, Hartford Mutual Insurance Group. I strive to inspire my coworkers to find causes that are meaningful to them. I take every opportunity to share what organizations I'm supporting and how I'm actively supporting their missions. In a virtual environment, this may mean sharing pictures of my foster puppies, talking about an upcoming charity golf tournament, or inviting my coworkers to attend a virtual event with me. My hope is that by sharing what I am doing, I will inspire at least one person to become active in their community so they will feel the same sense of joy that I do when giving back and making a difference.
I think something that's super important to remember is that joy itself is temporary. And in order for someone to feel joy, they have to feel other things like comfort and security and a passion and a reason for being there. I also am a firm believer that a lot of people feel appreciation in different ways, much like people feel love in different ways, or they want to feel love in different ways. So sometimes people feel appreciated by food or snacks or just a side conversation. Knowing your team members, significant others' names, knowing their kids' milestones is super important. And it just gives them that safe space to actually be able to feel joy. And hopefully you guys already are starting off with a shared passion for why you're there. So that already gets you off to a really good start and really just allows everyone to feel joy.
When it comes to inspiring joy in the workplace, obviously at school, our shared mission is to inspire our students and to really create that joy within them, that love of learning. When it comes to my work with the Firehouse, our shared mission is to really help those in our community. And as I was thinking about how to answer this question, I attended a leadership conference over the weekend, and they really helped kind of sum this into an acronym, the SHIP method. See them, make sure that your students know that you're there for them every day, smile at them. Hello, how are you doing goes a long way. Help them, and that could be my colleagues. I might help them navigate through a lesson, or I might just help them get through a bad day. The I is for infuse, or I like to kind of replace it with inspire, just being that sense of positivity for them, infusing that positivity within them. So the P in that stands for praise, and we all know that a little bit of recognition for something just really small can go a long way. It can really put a pep in someone's step to just praise them for the things that they do.
2020 was a year of challenges, and in life I have always been one to find the silver lining and to show gratitude to those who mean the most to me. Throughout the last year, I hope that I have inspired that attitude to my colleagues by reminding them the good we are doing for these employers and their businesses, especially those who have suffered through this pandemic. Our mission is to provide Maryland businesses with the protection for their workers by advocating the best workplace safety for their employees. I find joy in developing relationships with my community members and providing them with the motivation they need to continue to do what they love every day. I hope that I continue to inspire this joy in their passion by celebrating their well-deserved achievements.
You can see just how impressive and thoughtful each of these women are. They are all truly remarkable leaders. Our first award this morning is the Athena Young Professional Leadership Award. Please welcome Suzanne Fisher-Hutner of the Daily Record to present this year's award.
The Daily Record is proud to sponsor the Athena Young Professional Leadership Award. It is of great importance to us to help inspire and recognize the young women who demonstrate excellence and innovation in their leadership. We celebrate all of the inspiring finalists who have truly demonstrated excellence in their personal and professional lives. An Athena Young Professional nominee is an emerging leader who demonstrates excellence, creativity, and initiative in their business or profession, serves as a role model for young women professionally and personally, is 40 years old or younger, and has a minimum of 5 years professional experience, lives and or works in Harford County, and provides valuable service to improve the quality of life for others in the community. The recipient of the 2021 Athena Young Professional Leadership Award is an impressive individual who has a passion for helping others and supporting women. As a professional, she has championed fundraising initiatives, increased community outreach efforts, launched a new volunteer program, which has helped people they support develop new friendships, in turn helping combat loneliness and depression, and much more. She consistently gives back to organizations such as Chesapeake Professional Women's Network, Harford Leadership Academy, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, University of Baltimore Merrick School of Business, and others. This leader takes time to mentor women both in their professional lives and personal lives. It is an honor to recognize this remarkable woman as the recipient of the 2021 Athena Young Professional Leadership Award, Sarah Garbarino.
I'm so surprised. Thank you so much. I am so shocked. So this has been such a tough year for everybody, but dare I say, an especially tough year for women. So it feels really amazing to be a part of such an amazing event where we're bringing together all these amazing leaders in our community who are doing such incredible work. So I am so humbled and honored. And while I'm definitely not feeling worthy of this right now, I do want to thank everybody that's taught me about leadership along the way and work ethic and giving back. And that starts with my team at the ARC Northern Chesapeake region, my peers that are watching, the development team, Kelly, Nathan, and Cheryl, who make every hard day fun, and especially to my boss, Sean Cross, who has mentored me for the past 5 years, empowers me every day, and I thank you so much. I am so lucky to work for a place that really supports all people, regardless of gender, circumstance, or background. They are, if you have a goal and a dream, they are willing to work with you, and I am just so grateful to work there. And if you don't know much about the ARC Northern Chesapeake region, I encourage you to look us up. The team members there and the people we support have forever changed me professionally and personally, and I thank you all there. And then, of course, I have to thank my family, my parents who are watching from Florida, and my sisters, and my husband who freaked out beside me when you said my name. Thank you all so much for all of your support, talking me off of the ledge and empowering me every day. So thank you so much. And without them, I wouldn't be anywhere. So, and if there's anything I can say about leadership, is really just to go outside of your comfort zone. I encourage anyone who may need the nudge right now to join a committee or be a part of a project that's outside of your expertise or outside of your bubble, because every time I've been given the opportunity to do that, I've learned so much about myself, about other people, and it's helped shape who I am as a leader, and who I will continue to evolve as a leader. So Thank you all again to my family, everybody at the ARC Northern Chesapeake region, Harford Community College, and to the beautiful Harford County community for everything you do. I am so in awe of all of the finalists today, and I just thank you so much.
Congratulations, Sarah. I would now like to welcome Stacy Rebert of Harford Mutual Insurance Group to present this year's ATHENA Leadership Award.
Harford Mutual Insurance Group is proud to support the ATHENA Awards and the ATHENA Leadership Scholarship Program. We know the value of investing back into those who are passionate about our community, and it's one of our company's core values. In what proved to be a challenging year for many, it is clear that our 5 finalists truly embody the qualities of ATHENA International. That is certainly something to celebrate this morning, and I'm honored to present this year's recipient. An ATHENA Award nominee is an established leader and mentor who assists women in reaching their full potential, demonstrates excellence, creativity, and initiative in their business or profession, devotes time and energy to improve the quality of life for others in the community, exhibits the spirit of regional collaboration, and lives or works in Harford County. This year's recipient is a leader who always goes above and beyond to invoke change in the community for the better. As a professional, she has been transformational in her position as Chief Executive Officer and has led and empowered her community along the way. She has taken on new challenges, especially during the pandemic, and has helped grow net income by 328%. Her efforts to give back have impacted numerous organizations, including the Aberdeen Rotary, Salvation Army, and Harford Community Action Agency. She has mentored women in the workplace, and notably, she has been a Big Sister volunteer mentor for over 30 years. She is truly changing lives. Please join me in congratulating the outstanding recipient of the 2021 ATHENA Leadership Award, Robin Temechko.
Can you guys see me? Or hear me? I don't know. I've been having so many technical difficulties this morning with getting in. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Thank you all so much for this honor. I am totally shocked. My phone is buzzing. Oh my God. Thank you all so much. It's such an honor to be even nominated with this phenomenal group of women leaders in our community. So congratulations to all of you. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. I'd like to first thank my parents. I'm very fortunate to have both of them still alive and kicking in their 80s, but they're very technology challenged, so they're not here, but I will be sure to tell them the great news. But they instilled in me the notion of giving back and service to community and the importance that is. I also want to thank my husband of almost 40 years and my 2 adult sons who have been with me every place on my journey in life and supported me and attended all the various events in the community. And finally, I just would like to thank my amazing staff and board members at Harford Family House. I see them grow every day and do such amazing things for our clients and in the community, and I'm just so proud of all of them. Our board members are truly dedicated, and as I mentioned in my video, I mean, Harford Family House is a family, and I am so proud of that, and that brings me so much joy every day. So thank you all again for this extremely prestigious honor. I am humbled, and thank you all.
Congratulations, Robin. We now have a proclamation from Harford County Executive Glassman this morning as an additional honor for our recipients.
Hi, this is Harper County Executive Barry Glassman. Sorry I couldn't be with you this year for the annual ATHENA Awards. It's really Harper County's chance to celebrate all the accomplishments and the hard work of women throughout Harper County and all their professional achievements. I just want to take a second to congratulate Robin for her work at the Harford Family House and Sarah with the ARC of the Northern Chesapeake region. What two great, outstanding organizations that strive to lift individuals up and families as they move throughout Harper County and more importantly, as we move through this pandemic. So congratulations. I can't wait to get together again next year as we celebrate not only Harper County, but the women that make Harper County great. God bless.
That concludes our program this morning. Thank you to our finalists and congratulations once more to Robin and Sarah. We'd also like to thank Flowers by Bowers. All of the finalists received a surprise arrangement. Thank you again for being with us.
Congratulations, everybody. I think it's fantastic, Sarah, Robin, and everyone. I'm just awed at everything that I've learned about everyone, and just congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
You too. Everyone keep up the good work.
And holler if you need anything. Usually around.